Hello and welcome back. I am Dr. Sam Graber and this is my channel. This is a side project we're doing, which again is kind of turning into a main project where we're taking recipes that either we love around the house here or that people are sending in to us and asking us to make it more low carb friendly. Today we have what I would call pretty much a staple for especially fall. It's broccoli cheddar soup. And you can use any kind of cheese. I've used Gouda, which is, of course, I got to say it, Gouda. I've used white cheddar, or yellow cheddar, or orange cheddar, or whatever it is. Let's see what else. I tried it once with pepper jack. That was pretty good. It was a little, not as good as the Gouda, but it was tasty. Nonetheless, the idea here is that we're going to put some things together, throw down some wisdom maybe, and would love any comments as far as, what you enjoyed, anything like that. Any feedback is awesome. Be sure to subscribe and like this video as you go along. And if you feel so inclined and would love to have the actual recipe delivered directly to your email, happy to do that. We do that twice a week, and we have a whole booklet that has all our previous recipes as well. All right, let's get started. So like any recipe, you want to, if you're going to be cooking, you want to get your oil or your fats ready to roll first. So I'm going to get our butter in the pan over here. And let's get that started. So we're going to grab our aromatics. We start off with an onion. And the neat thing about this is you can add kind of any sort of vegetables you want. Like if you have carrots in the fridge, you have turnips, you have whatever it may be, and you just don't want them to get wasted, add them in here because they act as a thickener, right? So part of what we're looking for here is a thickened soup, but also we want to get as many nourishing veg and plants as we can in here. Yeah, there's some schools of thought that say, aim for 30 different plants in a given week. I think that's interesting. I haven't checked the research behind it, but it sounds pretty decent to me. I am not a plant-based person. I'm more an animal-based, but I do think that if you are eating plants, getting a variety of them is important. So that could be fun to kick around. All right, so let's get these sliced up. And the neat thing here, again, we're going to be blending all of this. So they don't have to be, like the bite-sized pieces that you want. I could do even a rough chop, which maybe I'll do that on the other half. But the idea is to help them all cook similarly. And then we'll get our celery done. All right, so let me see how that butter's coming along. All right, we're going to put in our garlic. Got that already pre-minced. Let's add our onions. Okay. All right, gonna grab a couple stalks here. That should equal out our 1 cup. And wash these babies up. All right, now since we are going to be mincing all this up and utilizing the stick blender, I'm gonna just do a rough chop here, but I'm also going to include the leaves. I kind of feel like that's a different type of fiber and potentially has some different nutrients in it than say the stalk. And I don't know, sometimes things just come to me and I'm like, makes sense. Or it could happen. So why not go with it? We'll see. I could be completely off base. Won't be the first time, and I guarantee it won't be the last. But sometimes things just make my thinker go, yeah, that could be. And I'm learning to trust myself and trust my gut. Because honestly, more often than not, she is spot on. When I start overthinking things that I get myself into trouble. Oh, can you relate? Probably, right? All right, and that's a good cup. So you'll notice I don't often, or I don't always use measuring cups and measuring spoons unless it's something that's like either going to overpower Or if we're baking, you know, which we don't do a lot of, but when we do bake, it is best to be a little more specific. But that looks like a cup of onion and a cup of celery. Let's let that do its thing. Alrighty, and then now we're gonna go in and work on our broccoli. Okay, so I wanted to show you the broccoli two ways. So we've got fresh broccoli, or as fresh as it can be coming from the grocery store. Then we've got frozen. Nice thing about using frozen, if you so choose, is more often than not, it's a little cheaper, right? And it's already pre-cut up for you. And when you thaw it out, you can use it just frozen, that's fine. You can thaw it out and then you can get it's kind of mushy already, so it makes it even quicker for making. But today, I wanted to show this in a couple different ways. And since we are going to do some from fresh, I am going to cut that up first and put that in. But I want to have that open and ready to roll. Now, when you do have your fresh broccoli, you can get the kind that has even the super long stalks. Like sometimes you see that in the store and it's got this big old long stalk on it and you think, well, we're just going to eat the florets. That's cool. You can always chop those guys up and put them in a bag in the freezer or in a container, and then you can utilize those when you go to make your broccoli soup. It also makes a really good thickener for other kinds of soups, and it tastes just like broccoli. I miss broccoli. It may not be the pretty kind that you want to eat in your meals, but I do find it's a great way to just waste less. All right, I'm going to get rid of that part. And then again, because we're going to be mixing this up, you don't need to make these in super, you know, bite-sized pieces, but you do want to cut them down to be of similar size in nature so that they'll cook at the same time and we don't end up mushing the heck out of some and then ending up with slightly raw others. Okay. So, go in here like so. I think we're only going to need one of those. So what we'll probably do is cook up the rest of that by itself, do a roasting in the air fryer with a little olive oil, salt and pepper, maybe some chili flakes. And then you can put that fresh stuff in your actual soup for a little different texture. It's super tasty. Okay. This, I can hear everybody cooking over there. I can smell those onions starting to get their onionness around. Okay. Okay, let's see here, excuse me. Oh, that smells so good. All right, I'm gonna let those go just, well, actually, since we're doing the broccoli in the raw state, go ahead and put that in there. So let's get our chicken broth. I don't know if you watched our last video or the video on, let's see, that was the ramen video where I talk about the broth. If you've not watched that yet, you still got to go there, okay? Because I went there. Okay, now we're using this just to go on record because we already had it. You'll know what I'm referring to if you watch that video. Okay, so we're gonna put this in here. I could have measured out 3 cups, but I'll probably end up using this whole thing because I do find that you want it to have a decent amount of soupiness to it, so that as you're blending it in a moment, we get a good consistency there. I guess we'll get these all in the same pot to start with. So we want to have 4 cups, and I would say we're at least 3. We'll take some of these guys out, and we'll add those to that fresh amount like I was talking of. There we go. Okay. You guys in the boat. Okay, so we're gonna let this get to a boil and then I'll pipe it down to simmer and then we'll be right back with you. All right, so we are gonna check our boil. Let's see, she's not feeling soft enough yet. Give that a little longer. Okay, so those are feeling a little more tender. Now I'm gonna add the frozen since we already had that thawed out. Now I'll put it in here. And we're definitely broccoli heavy. Excellente. Add a little more broth. So as I mentioned, you can use all fresh, you can use all frozen. I just wanted to demonstrate the difference between the two. So we're doing a little combo. Alrighty. Let that boil a little longer. All right, so every once in a while you want to just give it a good little stir and then check to see how pliable or how smushable the broccoli is. Trying this with my left hand. I am not left-handed. Okay, a little bit longer. Almost want to wait till it's a nice bright green now, till it gets a little more subdued, and then that'll show us for sure it is cooked. And then we'll season it. I'm going to add in a little celery salt. You can add that or not. If you don't have it, just use your regular salt and pepper. So see how that color, I don't know if you can tell with the steam, but the color is getting a little less vibrant. Okay, we're getting real close. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use the stick blender. Let me turn that down a bit. Okay, so the technique here that I've just learned through doing it a while is really make sure it's all immersed inside the liquid, and then I just go around the perimeter, give it a good first rough good chop. Take off the heat for the rest of it. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple times here, and then we're going to tilt it just a little bit, and I'll show you the next part. So now I'm just going to try to show you a bit. You want a little more of an immersion so that you can get a good flow going, like this. But be careful, it will come up on you. Okay, one more good. All right, now that looks like it has a good mix to it. Let's see here. Just checking for big chunks. Look at that. That's a beautiful color, great texture. So now we're going to take it off of our heat. Got that off. You can have it just like this if you want to go dairy-free, but I say any excuse to use cream and cheddar is a great excuse to make a meal. So we're going to use our full cup. Mix her around. And then the cheddar. I'd say my hand is about a cup. Actually, the directions say to do 1 cup and then mix it in and then do another. So I'm going to follow directions. Now you definitely don't want to heat it up. Absolutely not a boil once you have the cheese and the cream in there. There we go. I might do just a little more. Because like I say, any excuse for cream and cheese is a great thing to take advantage of. The one thing I've learned is oftentimes the cheese will go right to the bottom, so scrape that bottom a bit. I am going to put a little bit of celery salt in because it just sounds good, especially since we put some celery in. It's a dusting. All right, like not a whole lot because it is a very strong flavor actually. The broth itself had a little bit of salt in it, so we don't need a lot of salt, but I do like the pepper. Okay, everybody, let's see how this turned out. Oh, that's really good. It'd be exceptional with like a grilled cheese or even some of those cheese discs where you heat those up like in the oven and get a little, like almost like a cracker. That'd be really good. Just by itself, it's really good. So if you want to add protein, because I'm a big proponent of protein with your meals, but this is a great soup, could be a good appetizer or a soup course if you're one of those extra multiple course kind of people. And then anything else, you can put shredded cheese, you can do bacon, you can do scallions, and like I say, you could even have some broccoli on there. So I hope you've enjoyed, and if you have any suggestions for future recipes, hit us up, comments below. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, take good care of yourself and each other. Bye for now. You know what? I just realized I didn't wash the soup, wash the broccoli. I mean, it's probably already washed, but hopefully no one's going to call me on that. If they do, I'll be like, I already did that.